Oh, here we go.
First one. There you go.
There's the limit.
Ooh, that's a big one too, huh?
Yeah, there's the limit. Well, another good day. Another limit. Now it's time for the fun part. Cleaning and getting ready for dinner. Alrighty. Greetings everybody. This is Arizona Odd from Huntfish 4x4. Today we are taking a break from the field and stepping into the kitchen to prepare some of the game that we love to harvest. Today we are dealing with dove meat. I have about 15 birds worth of deboned breast here. Nice healthy pieces like this. And we will be making dove chimichangas. So I'm going to keep you here start to finish. The first thing we will be doing is seasoning our meat. The seasonings we will be using today, all I'm going to be putting into it is going to be pepper, salt, cumin, and chili powder. This is just a nice coat that we're going to let it marinate in for, I want to say, about an hour or so. If you would like, you can always prep it a day or two before and just let it sit. Completely up to you. So I'm going to show you again. I'm not going to be doing exact measurements. We're going to be doing it roughly. I'll show you little by little how we do it. The first thing that I always like to add is the chili powder. So we will go ahead and do so. Just regular chili powder, whatever you'd like to use. We're just going to coat the top. Not too heavily, just across. All this is really doing is giving us the flavor and the color. So a nice liberal coat, something like that. Just to get enough over the top. Same thing here. Cumin is a very strong spice. I actually don't care for it too much, but when I find I'm going to make like a taco season, which is really what I'm shooting for right here, it does help, and I think it actually belongs in such seasoning. So again, just a nice light coat over the top, not too much. I kind of don't want too much of that flavor coming out. Salt as well. Again, I don't do exact measurements. You can feel free to add as little or as much as you want of anything that you want to put in there. I just go over the top. I'm not a huge fan of putting too much salt into stuff, but yeah, just a little. Yeah, it's pretty liberal. Yeah, so just add some salt. You can also be doing this as you go. This is just a thing so it can sit and marinate for a while. After that, we'll be cooking it in a pan separate. So when we cook it in the pan, always good to give a taste, see what little more you need to add into it. We'll be adding it to some peppers and some onion. So here I got some pepper, and pepper I do like a lot of. So I'm gonna apply a very liberal amount of pepper. Yeah, I like pepper. Awesome. So we got pepper, cumin, salt, and chili powder. That's all that's gone in there. Again, not really using any exact measurements, just enough to get it coated. All right, and then this is just gonna be our marinade. We're gonna let this sit for, like how I said, like an hour or two. Again, you can do this a day or two in advance, depending on how impatient you want to be. But gonna give that a nice little mix up, make sure everything's coated, see if we need to add a little bit of more or less of anything. Not really less, can't take it out. See if we need to add any more. But all I want is just enough so that they're all evenly nice and coated. Again, this is just to give a nice little coat of seasoning. We're gonna let it sit. It'll start to get runny. The salt will pull moisture out of this meat and give it a nice like liquid to it. So this is the end result. Again, not too thickly coated of anything on there, but enough to where you could feel each breast does have seasoning on it. So now we're gonna let that chill in the fridge for, like how I said, I'm only gonna do it for about an hour to 2 hours, and then we'll tune back in when we start getting cooking. Alrighty, and while we're waiting on our meat to marinate, we can go ahead and do a little bit more prep. So that meat that we have marinating, I'm actually gonna cook it up with some onion, some yellow chilies, and some jalapenos. So all I like to do really, especially when it comes to the chilies, the onion I just like to chop up, dice up, cut it down half, cut the the seeds out of it. Now almost like julienne, just cut them into strips. So I'm getting the camera. But yeah, just cut them into nice long strips. Cut them in half and then cut them down like that. And then we'll go ahead and cut the long pieces like that down half. So yeah, just strip like that. You'll cut them just to nice workable pieces, so you're not fighting a big old piece when you take a bite out of it. And we'll repeat the same process for our other chilies here. And just half them. Pop the seeds out. Just go down. Again, we'll just half those. This chili is a lot shorter in length, so but still, we'll just, after we get them all cut, go ahead and just give them a little toss in half. This is just so while you're eating it, you don't have a big old piece. Again, just nice little bite-sized pieces. As for our onion, the same thing. Onion, I just like to just get into it, and again, just I try to get it as fine as we can. I don't like to leave these in strips. I find they caramelize better on the pan, and they're little pieces. And I also like onion in every little bit of the bite that I get. So after we get them into nice little cubes like that, we'll just put it to a pile and just dice them up. Go in on them, mince it up. The smaller they are, I feel the better they just mix around in the dish. Helps stick to everything else, but I am perfectly comfortable with that. So now, go ahead and remove all the pieces we don't want. But that's our mixture here. We got onions, yellow chilies, jalapenos. Alright, also we're waiting for our meat to marinate. We are going to be doing these chimichangas enchilada style. So I'm going to show you how we make our sauce here. All I have here is just a small pot of water. Not making too much. I'm not making too much of this at all. So go ahead and turn our fire on. And again, same chili powder we used in the marinade. I'm not going to add too much of this. You don't want to add too much. Again, I don't ever do exact measurements. For something, a little pot like this, it's probably only like 2 cups of water. You probably only want to use like 2, maybe 3 tablespoons. But again, rough estimate. That right here is actually going to be more than enough. And then the only other thing that I'll add to it is garlic powder. You can also add garlic and onion powder to your marinade. Again, it's not a rule what I put in there. It's just a basic example so you can see. I like a lot of garlic, so we'll put a good amount of that. And all we're going to do is let that bring up to a boil, and then I'll show you how to condense it down into a nice semi-thick sauce. Alrighty, now that you have it boiling, you bring up the chili to a boil. You're going to want to let it boil and condense down about several times, like 2-3 times maybe. This is just going to help get a nice concentration of that chili and the flavor in there. At this point, all I put in there was the chili powder and garlic powder. Now, I do like to season this, but I won't do it until I'm about done with the product. I don't like to add the salt because it'll fight and prevent the water from coming up to a boil as fast as I wanted it to. So once it condenses about 2-3 times, just let it come down. Once it does condense, just add a little bit more water, bring it up, and repeat the process 1 to 2 times. Alrighty, now that we've let our chili here condense down several times and we got it nice to where we want it, we can actually go ahead and season it. I have a spoon right here because you're going to want to taste, you know, what you're going for. So all I'm going to really do is just add some salt. A good amount. Remember, this is going to be the base of your enchilada sauce, so nice good amount of salt. I like a lot of pepper. Now again, you can always add, like, you know, when you were boiling this to begin with, like beef bouillon, chicken bouillon, broth, whatever have you. I didn't do that. I didn't have any. Usually if I'm cooking a bird, I would like chicken broth or something like that. I like spice, so right here I actually have some ground chita bean. Careful with this stuff. Depending on your heat tolerance, I keep an eye on how much you add. We like heat around here, so I'm gonna take a couple of liberal shakes there. This thing's stuck to the bottom. Yeah, this ground stuff does not like humidity. And give it a stir. See if you need to add a little more. If it's too much, I mean, add more water, but you don't. I really like to just get it right the first time, so give it a nice mix around, swirl it around, give her a taste, and go from there. Careful not to burn yourself. Oh yeah. I am perfectly happy with that. Actually went pretty heavy with that chitapin, but hey, that's what we like. I'm actually going to be pairing a second dish with this same chili, so I'm actually going to take a small cup of it now for my second dish. This is what we're going to have to coat our enchiladas with. This is what we're going to be making the sauce with. We are going to thicken this up, but we're going to wait to do that process until I'm a little bit closer on this end after my meat's already cooked and my chimichangas are already fried up. So stay tuned. Alrighty, now that our sauce is pretty much ready to turned into our enchilada sauce, I'm gonna go ahead and plop my meat down. All I'm gonna do is just same thing like I was doing with those, is just cut them into strips. Just maybe get like 3 pieces out of a single dove breast. Well, half of the dove breast, yeah. Just a nice little strip like that. That's all I'm going for. Real quickly, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Probably speed this along for you guys. You're not just sitting here watching me cut stuff. And done. Alrighty. So now we got our meat all nice and cut up there. Just gonna place it back into this bowl. Let it sit for a bit, and then we'll head over to our pan and get our peppers nice and caramelized. Alright, so here I got my nice little medium-sized pan. Just got some olive oil. I'm gonna coat the pan, not heavily, not heavily at all. Just enough so where nothing's sticking to the bottom. Go ahead and turn on my flame. All right. So got my flame going. Like how I'm saying, just a nice light coat of oil on the pan. Nothing too crazy. We're gonna let that heat up, and then the first thing we're gonna add is our onions and peppers. Alrighty, now that we got our oil nice and hot, we're gonna go ahead and plop in our onions, green chilies, and jalapenos. All we're gonna do is let those caramelize, give them a nice brown to the onions, get the chilies nice and soft. Again, all this is gonna really do is add body to the dove meat that we're gonna throw on top. Looking at it now, it looks like a lot, but all this stuff will shrink. We'll throw the dove meat and stuff on top. Usually, what I'll do to speed up this process is actually throw a lid on it, help the steam cook everything, get it all done faster than usual. Same thing when you're boiling stuff. Always throw a lid on, get it done a little faster. Got some onions escaping. So I'm gonna go ahead and go grab me a lid. Before you guys say anything, this is not the lid that goes to this pan. I just can't find it right now, and I'm not gonna spend too much time trying to look for it. Alrighty, now that we're starting to get a nice little brown on a little bit of the onions and peppers now, I'm getting ready to add my meat. Now remember, the meat was coated in seasoning and stuff, which is like a powder. So it will soak up all the oil that's already in there. So always, before you add your meat that has a seasoning on it, I just tend to add just a little bit more oil just to help it not stick to the pan and get all nasty and clumpy. Go ahead and give that a nice mix around. Make sure it gives a nice little coat on the bottom. Get just a little bit more oil, just to help the meat not stick too crazily to the pan. Now we're ready to add our meat. Got our nice julienne sliced dove meat. We're just gonna lay right on top. Right on top. Ah, looks beautiful already. Give it a nice mix up. You see all the color and stuff starting to add into there. It looks amazing. Fold everything in. Nice little mixture of everything. If it does tend to stick and it feels like I need to add more stuff, rather than add other stuff like rather than add like more oil, what I'll do is I'll add some of the chili that we have there, just to give it that flavor. Alrighty, try to pull it up close to the camera so you can see. Once you can see that the meat on the inside here is actually not pink anymore, not a bunch of juices running through it, that's exactly when we want to pull it. So I want to hurry up and get it off the heat, because if you overcook Dove, it does tend to get a little chewy. As it's cooling down, I went ahead and gave it a taste. I did go really light on the salt earlier, so I'm just going to hit it with another coat really quick while it's still steaming. A little bit more pepper. It's a little bit more salt. Again, it's always good to taste. Give a taste, see what it's missing. It was tasting just a little bland. The only thing that was really coming through again was that cumin. And give it a mix up, give her a taste again, make sure it's good, and well, if it's good, then good, and we'll move forward from there. Alrighty, we'll give ourselves a little taster. Yeah, much better. Much better. Alright. Now we'll get rolling our chimichangas. Alrighty, so all we have left to do is go ahead and roll our chimichangas. Here I have some nice flour tortillas. I have about 4 of them. Probably all I'm gonna make. These are homemade. My mother actually made these. Damn good. Damn good. So I went ahead and warmed them up. Gonna lay them down. Find your nice side that you're gonna lay them. I don't try to stuff them too much. We're gonna try to get away with as much stuffing as we can, but again, you can't do too much because then it's not gonna fold and like hold its fold, you know. Nice elongated. Fold the ends in. You want a good fold on the end just to make sure that they don't unravel as you're cooking them. That's the worst. Just make sure everything's nice in that little pocket. Make sure you wrap them nice and tightly too. Another good thing sometimes I like to do with chimichangas, if you don't got tortillas, I like to use wontons. They always come out nice and good. But here's your good fold. Here's one of them. Stick. All right, we're just gonna repeat the process with the rest of them. All right. So we got our nice 4 chimichangas. You can see they got significantly smaller because, well, I got better at rolling them. But now we're gonna go ahead, warm up some oil, and get these guys cooking. Alrighty, so I went ahead and added some oil again to the same pan we cooked it in, a nice little medium-sized pan. Don't use too much oil. I don't like a complete deep fry of it. If you got a fryer, you could chuck them in and have fun with it. But I just like a nice little light coat, just to get it on there and crisp them up. Behind me I got a strainer lined with a couple paper towels just to soak up the oil. As they're done, we're gonna chuck them in there and let them sit. I got my chili here, just turned it back on. We're gonna let it warm back up, and then I'll show you how to thicken it up and then make it into the nice sauce that we're trying to achieve. Oil should be hot enough. I'm gonna go ahead and start laying them in there. Yeah. Lay the folded side down. This just helps to ensure that they're gonna stay together. I could probably fit them all in there, but this is a good lesson to patience. Don't rush perfection. Don't rush it. Give yourself enough room, give yourself enough time to only focus on 2, you know what I mean? I'm gonna scoot this guy over. Just take your time. They don't take a long cook. Medium to high heat is what I'm doing. I tend to use closer to a medium because I don't want to hurry up and burn them. You know, that's not what I'm trying to do. Simultaneously, we're just gonna keep an eye on this. It's starting to simmer, so I just give it a nice little stir every so often. I want it nice and warm when we thicken this up. Now we're gonna thicken it up with the roux, and I'll show you how we make that here in a second. Is she good? Yeah, she's looking good. We're gonna go ahead and give her a flip. It kind of like folded out on me. It's all right. I can live with that. I could live with it. Go ahead and flip this guy too. It's a nice little golden brown on it, man. That's all we're really doing. Oh, they're looking good already. Even if you just want to eat it like that, it'd be perfectly fine. I won't be mad at you. But look at that. Nice cook on all sides. That's all we're really trying to obtain, is that nice golden brown. Like how I'm saying, substitute for tortillas or whatever, I like to use wontons. But when you got homemade tortillas, well, use them. It's one of those when life gives you lemons thing, right? Turn them into enchilada style chimichangas. Bang. Alright, so all I have here in this little nice plastic cup is just a tiny bit of flour. We're talking about maybe like 2-3 tablespoons of flour. Now we're gonna add a very small amount of oil. As you can see, I just threw barely any oil in there. Give it a whisk with the fork. And we're not gonna use a lot of this at all. Not a lot of this at all. And that's what I'm shooting for. Go ahead and give it more. As you're putting it in, you can kind of tell how much more you're gonna need. This is probably about double the amount. Let's go ahead and mix it. Go ahead and mix it. Still not there yet. Trust me though, this thing can get extra really quick, so just little by little add it in. Ooh, it's hot, it's burning my finger. Little by little, just add it in. Alright, go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit it again. And you'll slowly start to see it thicken up. Again, it's good to do things slow. Don't rush yourself. There's people out there who probably know exact measurements and all that good stuff. I am not one of those people, so I am therefore taking my time. You could see the consistency went from like pure water to now you can see like it's actually thickening it up. Now you want it just to where it slowly falls off. So I'm gonna go ahead and add another little bit of it. You want it nice and thick. I think we just hit the consistency I am looking for. Looks delicious. Make sure you're giving a good mix too though. You don't want just a nasty clump of it. So get thorough with it. As you can see now, like how I'm saying, it's looking pretty thick. I'm actually really happy with the way it's looking right now. Get my tasting spoon. As you can see, it's got significantly thicker. See how I'm saying it slowly comes off? Give a taste. I will call that done. Delicious. Nice and thick chili sauce that is gonna coat our chimichangas, hence making them enchilada style. Throw some cheese on there to melt, and well, we got a finished product. I'll be back with my plate in just a sec. Alrighty, so just take a nice look at our finished product here. Just slowly drizzle your nice enchilada sauce over the top. Sprinkle a little bit of cheese. Before all you traditional enthusiasts come after me, again, this is not how I'm saying it is done. This is no way traditional. This is the way I like to do it. To all you traditional enthusiasts though, I would like to hear how you do it. So feel free to comment down below. We're gonna go ahead and give it a nice little cut down the middle. Open her up. Like the fingers. Give her a look. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, I could sit here and make funny faces and a bunch of and ah noises when I eat this, but all I can tell you is that this isn't the first time I've done this. I prefer to do it this way and different other variations that I'm sure I will show you guys soon. So I'm gonna spare you the funny faces and noises, and well, I'm gonna enjoy. But hope you try it. If not, hope it at least looks good and gives you ideas for something for you to do in the future. But again, this is Arizona Og with Hunt Fish 4x4, doing some cooking today. And well, I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.